first started using a circular saw, I was actually using it all wrong. I was standing behind the saw like this, and I was looking right at this mark here, and it just didn't give me an accurate cut. So I dove in and researched how to use a circular saw, and now I'm going to share how to properly use one in 1 minute. So I have this board here, and what I'm gonna do is just take 2 inches off of it. I'm gonna take my tape measure and mark right at 2. Now that I have my mark, I want to make sure that my line is straight. So I'm not just going to freehand. What I like to do is grab a speed square and line it up on my board, then set my circular saw down and align my circular saw blade with the mark on the board. I want to be keeping this part of the cut, so I want to make sure that my blade is on this side of the mark. Once I have the edge of my circular saw aligned with a straight edge, then it is time for me to clamp my straight edge down so that it won't shift while I'm making the cut. The number one mistake that I make when using a circular saw is forgetting to adjust my blade depth. So how you do that is you go to the back of the saw right over here, and I love this Makita saw. I will always recommend it. And right here, you'll see some of these numbers here. This is the depth of the blade. That means how far this blade comes down below the surface of your wood. This is a piece of lumber core plywood, and this is about 3/4 inches thick. Typically, rule of thumb is that your blade depth should be about 1/4 inch more than the thickness of your wood. So 3/4 plus 1/4, that's gonna give me a blade depth that I need to have this at 1 inch. To adjust my blade depth, there's this lever right here. I'm going to push it up, and then it allows me to adjust the depth. So I am going to take this, and again, I love this circular saw. I really like the depth adjustment here. It helps me easily see how deep my blade is. So I'm just going to take my blade depth right here, and I am just going to set it right at 1. And once I get it there, right at 1, I'm just going to take this lever and push it down. So now my blade depth is at 1 inch. I'll show you it like this. You can see that this is also 3/4 inch material down here. You can see my blade is just below. My saw is unplugged, just so you know. The reason you want to adjust your blade depth to 1/4 inch is for better control, and so you don't cut through your support piece. If I never adjusted my circular saw, I would cut through both of these pieces because this is 1.5 inches thick, and this blade depth can go up to 2.5 inches. So I would cut through, my blade would bind, and my saw could kick back, and that's not very safe. So for safety purposes, for the best, cleanest cuts, adjust your blade depth to 1/4 inch below the thickness of your wood. That means if you're cutting 2x material, you're setting your blade depth to about 1 3/4 inches. Now I'm gonna put on my safety glasses for eye protection. You might wanna wear a mask for respiratory protection, or you might wanna put in some earbuds or headphones for ear protection. When I make my cut, I'm going to stand to the motor side of my saw. I'm going to stand over here. I have my hands on either side. If you are scared to make your first cut and you're scared, how is it going to feel when it turns on? This is what I recommend you do. Hold your saw out away from anything and just hold it, put one hand here, other hand here, and just pull the trigger and get the feel for how is it gonna feel when it turns on, how is it going to feel when the motor is running. So just stand like this. Just on and off. So here we go. I have my blade correctly aligned right at the 2 inch mark, just a little bit on this side so that I'm not taking any excess off this cut. I hold it with 2 hands. I'm standing on the motor side. I am not looking right here. I am having this angle right here, right through this little notch where I can see my blade and make that cut. When I run my saw against the straight edge, I'm actually going to be pushing my saw slightly this way rather than perfectly straight, just slightly at an angle just to keep contact with this straight edge. It won't do anything with the blade. My blade will go perfectly straight, but that's how I will make this 2 inch cut all the way across seamlessly. So I'm holding my circular saw. I'm standing on the motor side. You do not want to hold your circular saw like this. This is a no-no because your hand is over the blade. This hand is behind the blade. If there were kickback, it's just, you don't know how it's gonna twist or anything like that. So stand to the motor side. It's much safer. It's only one direction. It's just the safest way to do it. So hand here, set it down, get your blade ready. When you cut, this part here, this blade guard, it will automatically go up. So you don't need to worry about holding this when you cut, because as you cut, this will automatically lift up for you. So here we go. Once you make your cut, you are just going to have your circular saw sit there until the blade stops spinning. Then you're going to lift it up and set it aside. And here's my 2-inch cut. You'll notice that there is a line here from my cut, as this is my support piece, but it's only a 1/4 inch thick. I don't need to worry about the integrity of this board as a support piece. Follow along and let's learn how to use more tools.